Ireland Six Nations 2019. It's a pretty good looking squad. I deliberately did these videos based on like the picking order last season from Italy in sixth, up from the bottom. And yeah, it kind of feels a bit bad sometimes to look at the other teams when you look at this team. I mean, that's not to say the other teams aren't looking good. Wales have got a fine-looking squad. So Scotland, England, France, from what I know about those guys, and the Italians, always a bit of a mystery to me. But this squad, yeah, it's going to be a tough one to beat. But hey, it's a tight comp, so we'll see how they go. We'll have a look at the squad, who's out potentially, kind of question marks about some of the guys for the first round. The fixtures, and where the bookies have got these guys. So Best, Cronin, and Scannell, those are three pretty good number twos to have in your squad. Best has been under a bit of criticism for his form from 2018, but by no means has he fallen that way off the pace that he's still not a very, very good number two. Cronin, I've kind of loved watching him play this year. Sometimes gets a bit of flack for his line-out throwing. But, yeah, man, is he dynamic. So I'm looking forward to see him getting some time if he comes off the bench to run against some tired legs. It'll be fun. Tyke Furlong is probably the first name off anybody's team sheet if you're listing a World Team of the Year. He is just that good. But he's surrounded by other guys around him. I mean, Healy is no slouch. And, it's just a pretty mean-looking Ireland scrum that's going to boss people around. The second row is absolutely blessed with talent. James Ryan is just such a revelation of a player. Devon Toner, the mountain of a man, or at least giant. He's definitely got some Giants blood in him, that guy. He is just huge. The line-out settles down whenever that guy's on the show. Ian Henderson's named in the squad, but I've been reading mixed reports about whether he's going to be out for just the first round or whether he's out for the whole Six Nations with an injury he picked up. So I guess kind of watch that space. If anybody's got any updated information, do let me know. They called in Quinn Roux just in case, but there's certainly some depth in there. Likewise, the back row, man. I mean, Sean O'Brien, let's all have our fingers crossed to make sure that guy stays fit. He has had a horrible run with injuries, so that guy could use some regular game time. But in his stead, kind of, when there's been other guys need to call up, there's no lack of depth there. You got O'Mahony, who's just been phenomenal from 2018. CJ Stander, I don't want to get anywhere near that guy when he's running with the ball. But even some of the guys who don't get as much props, like Josh Van der Fleer, a very capable replacement when he comes on. Man, you're not losing much when he's on the paddock as well. So it's a very, very good looking forward pack. The backs, there's kind of only one area that looks, a touch low on depth, because Conor Murray is really, he's your main guy at number 9, and he's always going to be there. But without McGrath and Marmion, I think Marmion may be back a bit later on. Like, he was certainly a capable replacement when Murray was injured. But I suppose that's if Murray were to go down, then maybe that's one area where there's a bit of lacking in experience. I mean, Cooney's got 4 caps and Blade none. So that's one area potentially. But I mean, when you got Murray, who may end up playing 70 plus minutes, it's not too much to worry about provided he stays fit. 10, Carberry, Sexton. I mean, if you're looking at that as an opposition fan, you got to be pretty annoyed that when they take off Sexton, they bring on Carberry. That guy's been on fire for months. From what I've seen him in the Champions Cup, he is really kind of coming of age, I guess. And now that he's got a job where he is the number one guy, he seems to have taken to that like a duck to water, and he seems to be really enjoying himself down there. So yeah, hopefully he gets some game time. Midfield, it doesn't let up, man. It just keeps coming. Addison, Aki, Chris Farrell, Ringrose, Henshaw. It's just I haven't seen Tom Farrell that much because Connacht haven't been in the Champions Cup, which has been what I've been mainly watching from Europe this season. So any insights into him would be appreciated. But all the other guys, I mean, I know Aki from New Zealand and from his Ireland time, but Tom Farrell will be getting a first cap if he gets any game time. It's a big if, I suppose. Outside backs, Conway, who's got a bit of a question mark about his fitness. I think he didn't travel to one of the most recent camps, but I think he's still going to be fine. They called in Adam Byrne, and I believe they kept him on, even though Conway is kind of on the road to recovery, so he's still in the camp. Lama and Carney, kind of very different players, but both do a very capable job. I mean, Carney's just that guy who shuts everything down from the back. Lama's just your excitement machine player, so yeah, as I said, very different, but whichever one's playing, they're going to cause you problems if you're their opposition. And I mean, Stockdale, Earls, some of the best wingers in the world, so man, like, that's a very good team. It is made up of 17 from Leinster, 10 from Munster, 6 from Connacht, and 6 from Ulster. I may not have included Adam Byrne there. Did I include him? I can't remember because he was a late addition, so I don't remember if he was on the numbers. But either way, it's a decent little mix. As I said, doubts about Luke McGrath, Kieran Marmion, Ian Anderson, and Tyg Byrne as well. Tyg Byrne is a big loss because, man, that guy's been in good form as well. So, yeah, all the Irish teams have been doing really well in the Champions Cup from what I've seen. For the Challenge Cup, I understand Connacht have been doing pretty well too. So, I think that's pretty ominous. I'm not trying to make this negative. I just feel it's like I've reviewed the other teams and then I look at this and it's just very good. It's very positive if you're an Irish fan, man. You should be very excited. I suppose, though, the schedule is perhaps... It's like a middle-of-the-road one. There's no easy schedule in Six Nations, but England at home, that's going to be a cracking first game. And Ireland will have to be on the ball early. Scotland away is tough because at home they're very good. Italy away, that's probably a nice one to have, and we should expect a bit of a shifting in the lineup. France at home, I suppose after last year where it went right down to the death, it's probably nice to have them at home for a change. But then crucially, Wales away. Now that could be a pretty tough one because it looks like in the Six Nations, the last time Ireland beat Wales in Cardiff was 2013, which is a wee while ago now. They've travelled there in 2015 and 2017 and lost both of those games. So Wales away is tough, and I mean, it's still very early days to say, but that could very well be a deciding match depending on how things are looking. But the bookies have got the Irish as number one favourites, and I can honestly see why, because it's a very, very good team. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be playing them. New Zealand played them last year and we lost, so kind of a bit of a statement on where the Irish team is at. I know some Irish fans are kind of like, let's not get too overexcited. Let's not believe too much of our own press. We just need to kind of take it game by game, which is fair. You don't want to lose that kind of that cutting edge, and I don't believe they will. I think Joe is a coach who's going to have kind of a very clear vision of where everything's going to go, and I can't imagine him taking the foot off the throat for an instant. But how he goes with the big guns, or whether he kind of spreads the wealth and the caps amongst some of the less experienced guys, is always going to be an interesting question going into a World Cup year from Six Nations. So, does he use the Italy game as the experimental one, or does he do it with some of the kind of bigger games? Can they get a win in Wales? Or would a loss even into a World Cup actually be a good thing? I say it as an All Blacks fan a few times in the comments that the last two World Cups we won in New Zealand, that same year we didn't win our domestic competition, so like the Rugby Championship or the Tri Nations. We lost. And then we went on to win a World Cup. But when we won, 2003, we won it. The Rugby or the Tri Nations as it was back then. We won that and then lost the World Cup. Or was it 2007? Either way, you know what I mean. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have a loss. Not that anybody wants to lose, but sometimes you think maybe coaches learn a bit more from losing, seeing any potential weaknesses in their team. You'd rather get that sorted now than later. But hey, that's all speculation. Getting sidetracked. Ireland are the number one favourites for the Six Nations this year. You guys let me know your thoughts on the squad, on the fixtures. How do you think they're going to go? And talk to you again soon. See you later.